Hey, I've organized all my playlists on this channel so that you're able to easily find different types of shoes, different brands of shoes, as well as finding all my shoe battles, worth the price shoe reviews, etc., all in one place. Enjoy. You know, it was funny. One of the guys on the boards the other day had a question that he posed right as we were in the middle of all of the terrible wildfires in California. And he said, if you could just take one suitcase and you could fill it with shoes, what shoes would you take with you to protect them from the wildfire? And that got me thinking about this as an idea for a video. And I was thinking about it and I thought, I put together a picture of, the shoes that I would take. And, there were some specific shoes that were really expensive that I didn't want to deal with insurance on and so forth. And then I've been thinking about it since, and I thought, wow, you know what? Maybe there is a different strategy that I should be thinking about as it comes to this. So I put together a collection today on shoes that I would put in this bag. Now I have like what they call it a United States carry-on or a continental carry-on is what they call it. It's not for going to Europe, so not the continent, right? But this is something that is for the contiguous United States. We're allowed a larger carry-on bag on airplanes. Okay, I think most people know this. And in this particular bag, I can fit 8 pairs of shoes. I know this because I continually put 4 pairs in one half the bag every time I travel for a week. So I wear one and then I bring 4, right? So I picked out 8 pairs of shoes that I would put in this bag and I would put in my car. And I spent some time thinking about why each shoe and what it is about the shoes and why I want to keep them. So with that, let's get started and talk a little bit about why these shoes. So this is all about what shoes would I pack and bring with me if my house was about to be burned down by a wildfire. Now keep in mind, this is a wildfire where you have warning, okay? I do not, under any circumstances, recommend that you actually plan or stop to evacuate your house in case of a regular fire to bring shoes. That would be silly. I think we all know that, but this is I'm in the United States and we're a very litigious society, and I don't want anybody to think that by any means I'm ever recommending anything but. Okay, so so what are the criteria that you need to think about when you're thinking about, wow, what do I do? The first thing is replaceability. Can you just go and buy the shoes? We all have insurance. Insurance will cover our wardrobe, right? And so if it probably won't cover 80 pairs of shoes, right? But it will cover your wardrobe. So if you just have regular shoes and you just go out and you get new shoes, it's probably not a big deal. You may have to prove that you spent a lot of money on shoes or something like that. But that's a totally different story. So so I really looked at replaceability. Is this something that I can just go and buy? Okay. The second thing is I looked at it and I said, well, how much do I like these? Okay. The third thing I looked at is, are these an experience shoe? Are these something that I did in the shoe that meant something like to me, that was very important to me, that brings back a lot of memory? And so I put the shoes together based on that. I'll go through and I'll explain each one. So let's get started. So the first one that I picked out, and I know many of you will laugh at this, but it is an Allen Edmonds University. Okay? And this is a UCAP Oxford. And this is a discontinued shoe. It's not something that they make anymore. They've brought it back now twice. They brought it back probably in 2011, 2012. And then they had this thing where they brought it back for a collaboration that they did with one of the other fashion brands. I don't remember who, a couple years ago. But this is a very nice lambskin lined UCAP. And because I can't get it anymore and I had to buy this NOS, I did not buy this from the factory, which is, I think, the only Allen Edmonds shoe I did not buy direct. I am going to put this one on the list because I waited for years and years to get it, and I just don't want to give it up. So that's number one. is the Allen Edmonds University. You can see I've done a little bit of burnishing with them. I like them a lot. It's also one of the first shoes that I used in a YouTube video. Certainly the first time I did any public recording. I actually went on to a shoe shine stand at O'Hare Airport and did a little video right there. And there were no shoe shines. It was after hours or whatever, but a whole bunch of people stared at me, and it was the first time I ever experienced that YouTuber-esque thing where people are all staring at you while you're making a video, and you're just like, well, leave me alone, I'm doing something, you know? So very strange, but also part of the experience and why I want to keep them. Now, on the total opposite end of the value spectrum, right, I'm going to show another pair of shoes that I'm keeping, which are these. This is a Heinrich Dinkelacker Budapester, okay? And it is one of the brands that's handmade. This has a very, very intricate Norwegian welt, very big eyelets, very, very European looking shoe. Almost distinctly Heinrich Dinkelacker. I don't know of any other brands in the world that really do shoes quite like this. Now this is a carbon color, which they only did for a very short period of time. And I was lucky enough to actually be at their corporate headquarters and talking to them. And I was able to pick out a pair of this before it was available. HD is known for, they use nails on their soles or Triumph plates on some of them. But they're a big fan of nails. And you can see that they do these in little triangles. That's always a way to see this. Now these are JR soles, and they only had the JR on one of them. I don't know why, but you know, just a very, very cool shoe. I bought these in Germany when I was visiting their corporate headquarters, which is you know, an hour from my mother-in-law's, and so just a really good experience. It's a limited material. I can't just go and get, and so for me, it's just one of those things where replacing it's not going to be easy, and I don't really want to give it up as part of my collection. That would be a stalwart that I would use to rebuild the collection in the future. Okay. So the next shoe is a Paolo Scofora. This is the 646. Paolo Scofora, probably best known for these really intricate sole works, but they can make any kind of shoe. I bought these from Skoaktiebolaget in Sweden, and they are a very, very cool shoe. They're no longer made, right? This was a special makeup just for that store, and I've never seen this particular model out again since, and so I just don't find it to be easily replaceable. And I got to be honest, this is not the most expensive Paolo Scofora that I own, but because it's harder to replace, I could just go in, I could just order the other one and just have them delivered to my house. So why save those when I can save these, which are just not as easily replaceable? So now they're suede, which is unique. These are the only pair of suede shoes that I put out here. I love suede shoes. This is also my very first true fiddleback waist shoe. This was a big step for me in the over $800 shoe game. Okay, so as I look at what I was looking at, so that's the Paolo Scofora. As I look at next on my list, it's going to go again in the opposite end of value from the Heinrich Dinkelackers or the Paolo Scoforas, and I'm going to go to what is a lower priced shoe, but a very high quality shoe in my opinion, and that is the Sons of Henrey George. Now this looks black, but it's actually a dark brown, and this is made of Utah calf, and this is the first pair that I ever had in Utah calf, and really made me fall in love with Utah calf. These shoes, relatively stiff out of the box, you wear these for an hour and your foot heats up the leather, and the leather, it becomes soft like butter, really, really soft. It's crazy soft. And so this is just a really good experience shoe for me. and they're really, really difficult to get. They have the George, it's part of their regular collection. They always have them in Utah Cap, and they always run out. And there's always, you have to wait a season or 2 seasons to get them. So I was extremely lucky to be able to get these when I did. And I want to save them, have them as part of the of what I bring to the table. So I have them unlaced because I'm going to use them for colored laces this week. I really love pairing dark shoes with colored laces. I think it really pops, and so I think that'll be fun. Now back to my roots, right? As I think about my roots and what's important to me in my shoe collection, probably the most influential brand on my collection ever was Alden Edmonds. Just a little bit of background: I grew up in Chicago. The Alden Edmonds factory is in Port Washington, Wisconsin. In 2015, I got a job working for a company, and in 2016, I was transferred over to working about 30 minutes from the Alden Edmonds factory in Port Washington. And this is the Alden Edmonds that I chose to keep here outside of the vintage one. And this is a Alden Edmonds Cornwallis, and this is a custom shell cordovan example that I designed with a double sole, with a storm welt, with a contrast sole and welt, and in this beautiful bourbon shell cordovan. This is not something that they make. This is not something I know that they will make again. They had a shell cordovan event this year, and this shoe was not available. So these are the kind of things that I can't just go and replace it. I can't just snap my fingers and get the shoe again somewhere else. So I really want to have it. I also have these really cool Alden Edmonds enthusiast shoe trees that were a gift from my friends at Beato's. And that really was commemorating our trip to Alden Edmonds to visit the factory. So I'm saving these shoes and those shoe trees so that I have that memento as well. Just something that is very important to me personally. So so then we go and we look at so shell cordovan shoes, not inexpensive, right? Just be clear, but not the most expensive brand in the world. They're not closed channel or blind stitched. They're a really good factory made shoe. And even the really good is going to be questionable. People question quality at Alden Aberdeen all the time. I've been very lucky. I've been very happy with them, but I know that a number of people have not. And I love other brands as well. And so as I look at my my journey after my first Paolo Scofora, which I pointed out before, my real next big Italian brand that I looked at was Enzo Bonafé. Now, what was interesting about my Enzo experience was that I never took delivery of the shoes the way they were from the factory. I had them sent directly to a patina artist who then stripped the shoes and completely repainted them. And we did that. I picked out kind of an inspiration design for these. And I told the artist, you're an artist, go do your thing, right? And so he did, and I really, really love the way that these came out. These are also one of the first hole cuts that I ever got. This is also the beginning of my love affair with this type of toe, where it's the chiseled last, but the toe rises up like this. If you've seen my videos, you know I really am into that. And it has a medallion on here as well, which I think is a very cool medallion. Overall, this shoe has just been very influential in what I find important in shoes. So, this is another that I would save. They need a good cleaning, looks like. It's hard to clean patina shoes. You don't use colored things. So I always put it off, and I clearly need to bring it out. So, but here's the other shoe. These shoes are in fantastic shape. I really like them. Enzo Bonafé is known for doing a lot of handwork in their shoes. I just got into a big discussion online today talking about handmade, and that's probably a whole other video. But this is a very, very good high-end shoe that is not does not come with a very high-end price. Just a really good good brand there. As we talk about rare, there are different degrees of rare, right? There's rare, meaning that you can't easily have the shoes remade. There's rare as you can't have the patina redone exactly the way it was, because no two patinas are exactly the same. But the next pair is rare for a different reason. Now, these are my Edward and James long wings, right? And these are made by Barker for Edward and James. And so this is like the story of Barker, carved into the sole with a laser carving, kind of cool, a little gimmicky. But the reason that these made the list is that the leather on this is made by a tannery in the UK that no longer exists. So this is shell cordovan. It was shell cordovan from a tannery that only made shell cordovan for a couple of years, and they wanted to get it for this particular brand, and Barker and Edward and James, did the deal. They got it going, but then it just wasn't enough in order to be able to hold up the tannery. So now this becomes irreplaceable. Okay? Now this is also my only dark brown cordovan shoe, and it's my only Barker, and it is one of the few British long wings that I have. And if you remember my worth the price video, see it's got a seam there, which is very unique in my opinion. These are beautiful shoes, and obviously that's important to me. But this is, I collect shell cordovan shoes. I find it important to be able to have different tanneries in my collection. So I had to give up my Toscana and my Shinky shell because they were too big. I've ordered Shinky shell already, and I'll order some Toscana shell here in the near future to bring it back. So those are things that I find important as part of the collection, and so I want to preserve those. Especially in a case like this where no amount of money will be able to replace something that is no longer made. So, and then I'm out searching on eBay trying to find it that way, which is, I know a lot of guys do it and enjoy that kind of a hunt. That's not me. I'm just not, I'm not that into it. So now the last pair of shoes that I have are one of my newest, one of my most comfortable, the best fit of any shoe that I have. And they're also the most expensive. So there you go. But these are shoes that I had made for me. I worked with the team there and I designed them. I can go in and work with them again and have them rebuild them. Okay, so that they are not irreplaceable from that perspective, but they are my first introduction into a brand which is a very experience-driven brand, and for that reason, they are, I believe that I will probably own 5-10 shoes from this brand. So I think this is going to be one of my mainstays in the future. So I definitely want to stick with it. Now, this is a St. Crispin mod 646. They did a custom last for me, well, modified last, right? They took my measurements, they built the last, they sent me trial shoes. I sent them feedback. They redesigned it, and redesigned the last, and then built these shoes. And I decided that I wanted the Norwegian stitch line. I decided I want the toe plates. I decided I wanted my initials on it, and I chose the leather. And it's phenomenal. I can't say that about many shoes. But this is phenomenal. Oh, and I chose the last, also the last shape. So, you choose the personal last, but then they actually have last shapes that they do. So I had a choice from, I don't remember, 6-7 different last shapes that I could do. And I did this in a bead chisel, which is very unique. Most of the ones that are this design are on an almond last. So I feel like this really creates a nice, unique shoe for me. One of the things I like best about these shoes is that they have a higher top line on the inside of your leg than they do on the outside. Now, this makes them incredibly comfortable, completely changes the way they feel on the foot, and are incredible for me because I have a plate above my ankle bone on the outside of my foot, on my right foot. And because I broke that bone that comes in from the leg over the ankle. And this makes it so that it never touches, rubs, or feels that in any way at all. And I love it. I mean, it stays away from all of the sensitive spots. And so I could not be happier with these shoes. They are in a Russian grain leather, like a hatch grain. And I like that too. Obviously I chose it. And it is something that I'm definitely looking at having other shoes made in as well. I have a couple of Enzos that are in a hatch grain, and I have my Vass in hatch grain, and I've got a pair, and then I've got a pair that's coming from another maker, two other makers as well. One from Yosol and one from one from Yosol, one from Patrio in the Philippines, and one from October 10th. So I really like that type of leather, and I'm really excited about it. So those are the 8 shoes. I would work them into the bag. I would put the bag in the trunk of my car, and then heaven forbid, if we needed to evacuate, that's what I would bring. Now, do you find any faults with my logic? Is there something that you would look at completely differently? What are your favorite shoes? Let me know if you have a difference of opinion, or if you'd like to share what part of your collection you think is most important to you. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and look forward to your responses. Thanks.